Before I begin this episode, I must advise that it deals with severe domestic violence. If you or someone you know is in a dangerous situation, please reach out. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24/7 at 1 800 799 SAFE. That's 1 800 799 7233. It is not the length of life, but the depth.
You are now listening to The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast hosted by Kay on Spotify. A podcast aimed to uncover and share the stories behind heinous and insane acts that have been overlooked or overshadowed by mainstream media, getting justice for the voices that can't speak.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Kay, and I am the host of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast, a podcast designed to focus on crimes committed in the Black community that you don't hear about in mainstream media, giving a voice to those victims that have otherwise been silenced. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast with me, Kay, the Texas girl in a Georgia world, baby. Ladies, how y'all feel? Fellas, y'all all right? It is Sunday, May 10th, 2026, and I want to wish all of my amazing and wonderful mothers a happy Mother's Day. Whether you are a mother to children here on earth or in heaven, whether you're a stepmother, a grandmother, or playing the role of mother. We celebrate you today and we love you. Fellas, I hope that you blessed your children's mother with lots of love, laughs, snuggles, gifts, all of that. Today is the day that we as mothers should be spoiled, okay? Tell your kids to leave you the hell alone, kick back and enjoy a glass of wine or three and rest up, okay? I know I am because it's my only day off, baby. All right? Your girl been working hard, not hard, hoard, okay? Now, y'all know I ain't gonna keep chatting too long because I want you to still be able to enjoy your Mother's Day. So let me just ask you this. What you sipping on? Now, I've got my water as usual, and I have some food that I cooked today. It's Mother's Day. I know I'm not supposed to be cooking, but I was in the kitchen anyway. You know, I made me some smothered chicken, some cornbread dressing, some mac and cheese, some collard greens, some candied yams with some sweet rolls. So if you hear me smacking, mind your business, all right? Y'all know my ass stays cooking. Shoot. You know what? I might just do like a live show one day and sell my own plates. You never know. Anyway, now, this is a special episode that really shows the love that a mother has for her child. And I mean, to the point of doing what every mother has always said that they would do. And that's to, lay down their life for their children. But what's most hurtful is when the children are lost anyway. So let's get into it. Hop on in and buckle up, baby, because we about to take a ride to Douglasville, Georgia in 2020, right smack in the middle of the pandemic. The baby was showing us that he was a rock star. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom was a hit and one of Chadwick Boseman's last films. May he rest in peace. Meg Thee Stallion and Beyonce had everybody and their mama doing the Savage Challenge. Oh, and shout out to Kiera Wilson, a teenager that made that challenge, by the way, a teenager that made that trend. Just wanted to throw that out there because they stay trying to steal it from us. One Night in Miami was an instant success, giving Amazon Prime a boost, and Pop Smoke was dripping in Dior. May he also rest in peace. But in Douglasville, Georgia, a mother was fighting to save her baby girl and paid the ultimate cost. Y'all ready to get into it? Y'all know what time it is. Let's get it. This week's case involves Crystal Williams, victim, Danyel Sims, victim, Malachi Williams, surviving victim and witness, and the infamous murderer of the week, Justin Turner. Crystal Sharice Williams was born June 24th, 1993, to Daniel Green and Alvin Williams in Cleveland, Ohio. She was one of five children with her brothers Alvin Jr., Brandon, Malachi, and her sister Brianna. Now, in a house full of kids, you learn kind of quickly how to find your voice. And by all accounts, Crystal found hers early. Growing up in the neighborhoods of Cleveland, Crystal wasn't just like one of the kids. If you talk to those who knew her back then, they described a child who was remarkably observant. She was the type of kid who noticed like if a neighbor was sad or if a younger sibling needed help with their homework before they even asked. She was just like very, intuitive. She was vibrant. There's a specific kind of energy that I believe some children have. It's like I guess you could call it like a light that people, always mention in retrospect. But with Crystal, it was like a steady flame. It wasn't just a light. She was dependable, even as a little girl. She wasn't a troublemaker. She was a student of the world around her. She had this infectious laugh that her mother said could clear the clouds out of a room. Now, she attended John Hay High School, which, had a reputation for pushing its students toward excellence. And in those hallways, she wasn't just a face in the crowd. She was known for being studious and smart, and she knew how to speak her mind. She's a teenager in the early 2000s, so, she got a lot to deal with given everything going on in that time frame. She was grounded though. Everything that her parents taught her, she held true to herself. She had that mentality of family over everything and, getting your education. She was one of those that had a life plan like coming out the womb. Like in short, I guess you could say that Crystal kind of basically was just a beautiful spirit inside and out. And she was, when I say beautiful, like I mean beautiful. Like I was looking at pictures of this girl and good God, she was gorgeous. Like Tyra Banks could never, okay? Like, can we just say top model? Like she's top model type. Now, she was also very smart, educated. She loved her family. She loved her sisters and her brothers. And unfortunately, she mistakenly loved the wrong man. But before we get into that, I really wanted to get into Crystal's mother, Danielle. Danielle wasn't just Crystal's mother, let me be clear. She was also her protector, her confidant. And in the final moments of their lives, she was literally her shield. But like I said, we're going to go back a little bit. So Danielle Sims was originally born Danielle Green on May 1st, 1974, in Cleveland, Ohio, to Reginald and Brenda Sims. She grew up in a household that valued resilience and family above all else. She had several siblings, including her brothers Reginald Jr. and Darnell, and she had a sister, Tiffany, and they were all raised in an environment where you looked out for your own. You took care of each other, and she attended Glenville High School, where she was known for her sharp wit and her ability to navigate any social circle. Like, she was just popular. She also was freaking gorgeous. Like, good God, I looked at the picture of her and Crystal, and Lord Jesus, they were freaking beautiful. Like, I know she had no problem getting a man, honey. Okay. But anyway, so her friends remembered her as someone who didn't take no for an answer when it came to the people that she loved. And one of those people was Alvin Williams. She met Alvin, and at 19 years old, she gave birth to her first child. And y'all know who that was, Crystal. Now, Alvin and Danielle had a very loving relationship. And, the two of them ended up having more kids. They had Alvin Jr., but then things kind of took a turn and the two of them broke up. She went on to have other relationships, and from those relationships, she had two more children, Brandon, Brianna, and later she welcomed her youngest son, Malachi Williams. And the cutest thing about Malachi is that he and his big sister Crystal, they shared the same birthday. Listen, that is kind of a cutesy little thing. Like my son and my dad share the same birthday. Like, so he has no excuse to forget his grandson's birthday, even though he still forget some of them, but this one he know for a fact. He's like, "Okay, this baby was born on my day." So, but I guess that's cute. So, again, Malachi and Crystal share the same birthday, which, cool, whatever. Now, Danielle's relationships with the fathers of her children were chapters of her life that, while it was sometimes complicated, it always resulted in, her fierce dedication to her kids. She was the glue. Whether it was navigating co-parenting or the daily grind of raising 5 kids, Danielle was the one who made sure that the bills was paid, the birthdays was celebrated, and that house felt like a home. When I say definition of a strong black mother, amen. We know that tale all too well, honey. Working hard, taking care of the kids, paying the bills, making sure that there's food on the table and clothes on their back. That's what we do on a daily. Amen and hallelujah. But, God was watching Danielle and he matched her with her perfect mate. I'm going to tell y'all now, I'm going to mess this name all the way up, okay? But she met the love of her life, Ibunolorum Sims. That's what Imma say it's pronounced as, Ibunolorum Sims. And baby, that man swept her off her feet. So much so that the two of them get married. He became a devoted husband to Danielle, and together the two of them were thriving and building a legacy, and they decided to move from Ohio to Lawrenceville, Georgia. And at 46 years old, Danielle, she's living the dream. She got her kids, she even got grandkids at this point. And that is when, shortly after, Crystal ends up meeting Justin Turner. The Experience the Exhale 2.0 Summit is coming fall 2026. Experience the Exhale is a faith rooted wellness community for women that are navigating life, love, and identity. If you're in a season of transition, married, separated, divorced, or simply rediscovering yourself as a single woman, this is your safe space to breathe, heal, and gain clarity. Through guided support and a powerful sisterhood, Experience the Exhale helps you release what no longer serves you and step into your next chapter with peace and purpose. Connect with us and locate your rainbow. Sis, it's time to exhale. Follow Experience the Exhale on all social media handles, Instagram and Facebook at Experience the Exhale. You can also check out their website to take the clarity quiz on www.experiencetheexhale.com. Justin Dion Turner was born on April 21st, 1997, to Justin Turner Sr. and Monica Turner. Justin grew up primarily in the Gwinnett County area, and well, his upbringing was nothing like Crystal's, like absolutely fucking nothing like hers. He struggled to make himself seen, and when he was seen, he was kind of like socially awkward and just troubled. He attended Meadow Creek High School in Norcross, Georgia, which was a large, bustling school where he was often described by former classmates as, someone who moved through the halls quietly, but carried this volatile energy just beneath the surface. He got into a lot of trouble, and it followed him all through his late teens and into his early 20s. Like, homie had zero regard for the police. Hell, in April of 2020, he was arrested and charged with aggravated assault against a police officer. So, how did a woman like Crystal, who was studious and family oriented and full of life, cross paths with somebody like Justin? See, they met through mutual friends in the Atlanta area shortly after Krista moved to Georgia. And in the beginning, Justin was everything that Crystal desired in a man. He was charming, he was attentive, and he made her feel good in every way. She didn't realize that he had already started to isolate her from her friends and family, or that, he would question her on her whereabouts all the time. Baby, where you at? What you doing? When you coming back? She's just looking at it like, oh my God, he loved me so much. He can't stay away from me. And, they get so close that they eventually move in together at the Dunwoody Glen apartments where Crystal had her own spot. And of course, Danielle didn't think, it was a good idea because she's like, girl, we ain't even been here that long. You done got booed up with this nigga. You done met this man. I don't even see you like that no more. Now you talking about you want to move in with him. But, Crystal's grown. It's only so much that her mama can tell her. But once they moved in together, Crystal started noticing how demanding and overbearing Justin was. Like he was smothering her. He wouldn't let her breathe. And it started to weigh on Crystal. Her friends and family were noticing it. She was jumpy. She was withdrawn. She didn't want to do anything. Justin wasn't just a boyfriend. He was like her living shadow, her second layer of skin, like draining the fucking life out of this woman who was once so full of life. The woman who was once the funny one, the life of the party, was just becoming withdrawn. By the late summer of 2020, Crystal had realized that the man she was living with wasn't a partner. He was a threat. So she started making her moves. She decided it was time to leave. And the first person she told was her mother, Danielle. The reality was that behind the doors of their shared apartment, Justin was creating a world of isolation. This is it's just a common tactic in domestic abuse. The assailant slowly severs the victim's ties to their support system, meaning, he's coming in between her and her family. Because he knows that's her support system, her mama, her sister, her brothers, all of that. He wasn't her boyfriend anymore. He was her warden. There was a history of domestic turbulence that many people didn't see until it was too late. Crystal had tried to get away from him before. This wasn't her first attempt at freedom. According to her brother Malachi, Crystal had reached a breaking point several times. But, Justin had a way of pulling her back in using guilt and intimidation or the classic cycle of violence where, a period of intense aggression is followed by the honeymoon phase of apologies and promises to change. Oh, bitch, you can't leave me. Then it turns into, baby, I'm sorry. You know I love you. I don't mean it. I'm going to get help. I promise. And each time Crystal forgave him, each time it got worse. And the apologies came less and less. And this is where I start to think,
No, you done fucked up, right? No, 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 no. You know you done fucked up, right?
ladies, let me learn you something real quick. When a man shows you who he is, you best believe him. Every time a nigga apologizes and it's for the same shit, best believe he means it less and less. See, I was once told that every time you forgive a nigga for the same thing, let's just use cheating as an example. Every time a nigga cheats on you and he apologizes and he says he's not gonna do it again, and you say, oh, it's cool, or you forgive him or whatever. Every time you do that, it means that that nigga has less and less respect for you because he knows he can get away with it. It's messed up because he's losing respect for you for his wrongdoing, but it's facts. The apology is just words. And that's just what Justin was giving her, words, because there was no action, there was no course of change. By September 2020, the honeymoon phase of their relationship was over. It had become nothing but arguments and threats. And Crystal knew that was, it was time to figure something out and to get away from him. The relationship had delved into a series of heated arguments and escalating threats. Crystal knew she was in danger, so she decided to leave him for good. She didn't, try to do it alone. No, like she called the strongest person that she knew, her mama. She told her mama, I need help. I need to leave him. And Danielle, she's hearing the concern in her baby's voice. She came running. Now, there's something particularly heartbreaking about Danielle's role in this case because investigators and family members say that on that Sunday night in September, Danielle wasn't just there. She was there because Crystal needed her. Those were her words. My baby needs me. Crystal was trying to make a clean break from a relationship that had turned extremely toxic. And of course, as children, who do we call when we're afraid? You call your mama, and Danielle didn't hesitate. She didn't stay in Lawrenceville where it was safe. She went to Douglasville to get her baby. She stood on that. On that Sunday, September 6th, 2020, Danyel Sims didn't just come to help Crystal pack. She came to act as a barrier. She brought Crystal's 18-year-old brother Malachi, and then she also brought another young family member just to kind of make sure that, Justin couldn't stop her, or so she thought. But what they didn't know was Justin was sitting, waiting at the exit of the apartment complex, watching the women do everything. He was watching the woman that he claimed to love, packing her things to try to drive away toward a better life. And what they also didn't know was that Justin had a gun. September 6th, 2020, it's a Sunday night. It's the kind of night for, winding down and preparing for the week ahead, getting ready for work. But for Krista Williams, this Sunday was supposed to be the finish line. She was moving out. She was going home. She had told her mother, "Mommy, I want to come home. I don't want to be here no more." And her mother was happy to have her baby back. So as they loaded the SUV and began to pull out of the apartment complex, Justin watched from a distance, waiting to make his move. And what really stung is that he didn't care who saw him. Once he saw that car pull away, he pulled off and followed it, blocking Crystal's path, cutting off her SUV at the exit on Peachtree Industrial Boulevard. Now, witnesses and survivors describe a scene of pure terror. Justin didn't come to talk. He pulled Crystal out of her car at gunpoint. "Get out the car. Get the fuck out the car. I told you that you ain't leaving me. You think you could just leave me?" Crystal's crying out in pain. He's pulling at her. Danielle, she sees her daughter in the hands of a man who has spent months breaking her spirit. And so she did what any mother would do. She stepped in between the gun and her daughter. She saw her daughter being dragged into the street. She didn't stay in the safety of the car. She didn't call for help and wait. Danielle threw herself out of that vehicle. And when she saw that Justin had that gun on Crystal, she literally put her body in the line of fire. She used herself as a human shield. She wrapped her arms. When I say a human shield, I mean that shit. She wrapped her arms around her daughter, trying to catch however many bullets this man was shooting. And then, sadly, Malachi is standing there. He's watching from just feet away as Justin opens fire at point blank range. All you hear is pop, 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 pop. That's how he described it. Justin didn't stop, though. He turned around, looked Malachi dead in the eye, and shot him, striking him in the arm. And remember, y'all, there's another kid in the car. Luckily, they weren't hit, but the entire ordeal is just traumatizing, especially watching his sister Crystal and his mother Danielle. They fall together in the road. And Justin, once he knows that they're dead, he jumps back into his car and he sped away, leaving a trail of shell casings and a shattered family behind. Now, 911 gets called, and the entrance of the complex became a chaotic scene of blue lights and sirens within minutes. It didn't take much to figure out who did it. Like, surveillance cameras from the apartment complex captured the chilling moments of the SUV being blocked in. More importantly, there were survivors, one being Malachi, who, despite him being wounded, he was the primary witness to his mother and sister's final moments. And so the cops were on the hunt looking for Justin, wanting to, give the family justice. But the manhunt didn't have to last long. Well, not for the Sims family. And at first it was like every hour was, dragged on like an eternity. But Justin's lazy ass didn't go far. They didn't locate him that night, but the very next morning, cops spotted him at the same apartment complex. This motherfucker came back to the scene of the crime. So the Dunwoody police arrest Justin and take him into custody, and he's charged with 2 counts of felony murder and aggravated assault. September 9th, 2020, he has a bond hearing. And of course, the judge was like, "I'm not giving your black ass bond. Are you crazy?" Now, here's the really twisted part. You would think that this was a romance that had gone on for years and years, or at the very least several months, right? You would think that, right? Wrong. In all actuality, the two of them had only been living together for 2 months. 2 months. In the course of 2 months, the two of them had moved in together. Crystal was trying on wedding dresses, all of that. And in the course of 2 months of them living under the same roof, Crystal had been shown exactly who that nigga Justin really was. Danielle and Crystal's funeral was held on September 19th, 2020. Like, just kind of picture the scene. Remember, this is the pandemic, so you know they ain't got a lot of family there, okay? There's two caskets side by side, a mother and a daughter who lived together, laughed together, and ultimately died together. The sanctuary was filled with vibrant flowers and photographs that captured the funny one, which was Crystal, and the shield being Danielle. And family members spoke to Danielle's, unwavering devotion to her family. Her husband, Ibn Lorum, he described her as the anchor of their home and the person who made sure everything was right. He spoke about how Danielle didn't just talk about being a protector, how she lived it until her final breath. Crystal, of course, was remembered for her light and being a young woman who had so much left to give, whose humor was a gift to everyone she met. The funeral wasn't just a goodbye, it was a testament to a bond that even Justin couldn't break. They were buried together, a final symbol of the way that they stood as one during that horrific confrontation at the apartment complex. Now, Malachi had undergone several emergency surgeries at Atlanta Medical Center to try and restore movement to his limb, but the physical wounds were only part of it. From his hospital bed, Malachi spoke to the reporters and the authorities, and he said she wasn't kidding when she said she'd die for her children. Like, the children are now growing up in a world where the primary source of their safety, their mother, is gone. The glue that held the family together was ripped away, leaving the older siblings and Ibunalorum to figure out how to be a family of two or three in a house built for many. And so while the family's grieving, the Dunwoody police, they're working to ensure that the man that's responsible would never walk free again. Justin Dion Turner was brought into an interrogation room shortly after his arrest on September 7th. And in these rooms, investigators look for remorse or for a motive or even for a confession. But this nigga's demeanor was just chill, like real chill, unfazed even. I mean, remember, this was a man who had already been arrested just months prior for assaulting a police officer. And so they show him surveillance footage of his car blocking the SUV. And they also have the testimony of Malachi, who basically looked Justin in the eye as he pulled the trigger. The motive was clear as day. Justin couldn't accept that Crystal was leaving. He couldn't accept that he no longer held power over her. In his mind, his bruised ego was worth more than two human lives. Now, initially, he was just facing the 2 counts of felony murder, but by the time the state of Georgia was done with his ass, oh, it was way more than that. Justin Dion Turner was charged with 2 counts of felony murder for the deaths of Crystal Williams and Danyel Sims. He was also charged with aggravated assault for the shooting of Malachi Williams, for possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and cruelty to children for the trauma inflicted on the juvenile witness that was in the car. So Justin faces the possibility of the death penalty or life without parole. Ultimately, the weight of the evidence, the ballistics, the video, the testimony of Malachi, it should lead to a conviction that will, ensure that Justin spends the rest of his natural born fucking life behind bars. So the pretrial of Justin was had in September, and the judge, Nora Polk, presided over the case. Now, there's some conflicting information, and I'm really trying to get more details. So I'm doing a little bit of research on that. But there is one source that says Justin had a trial late 2022. However, I couldn't find anything on like the specifics, which is really odd considering it's DeKalb County. They usually have some type of information. So the proceedings were grueling, mainly for the family, because it meant reliving the night of September 6th over and over again. And the prosecution played the surveillance video from the Dunwoody Glen apartments. And the jury watched Justin Turner's car cut off the SUV. They saw the confrontation. They heard the expert testimony regarding the ballistics, how the shell casings found at the scene matched the weapon linked to Justin. Malachi was there, of course, and looked Justin dead in the eye the entire time. And during his testimony, when I tell you, when Malachi was up there speaking, baby, it was so quiet in that room you could hear a rat piss on cotton. Okay. Like Malachi didn't just point Justin out as the shooter. He described the look on Justin's face. He said it was a look of cold, unwavering intent. During the victim impact statements at the end of the trial, the family's grief, of course, it's consuming the room. Daniel's husband, he speaks to the court about the hollowed out life he now leads. He spoke of, you know, Danielle not as a victim, but as a hero who had fulfilled the ultimate promise of motherhood. One of the most heartbreaking statements came from, um, Crystal's siblings who described the stolen milestones. They were like, "We're never gonna be able to have them at graduation or our wedding, birthdays. It's gonna be so many times that they're gonna miss it because they're not here." When it came time for the jury to deliberate, it didn't take all that long. They came back and Justin Dion Turner was found guilty on all major counts, including 2 counts of malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. When the judge gave Justin his chance to address the court and the family, like, it got real quiet. And I guess the family was, like, waiting on this heartfelt apology, but it wasn't one. Oh, baby, but Judge Nora Polk, baby, she did not mince words when it came time to hand down that sentence. She let it be known this crime is senseless, it was stupid, and the level of violence was uncalled for. You took away a mother, you took away a daughter, you took away people that mattered in this community. She spoke to the senselessness of the violence, how Crystal's simple move out turned into a massacre. And of course, Justin Dion Turner was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole, plus additional years for the aggravated assault on Malachi and the firearm charges. So, in the eyes of the law, the sentence was the maximum possible. It ensured that his little 23andMe head ass, when he convicted them crimes, he would grow old basically and die within the walls of a Georgia state prison. He would never again be able to block somebody's path to wherever they're choosing to go. Now, when the bailiffs took Justin away in chains, it wasn't like people were in there cheering. It kind of gave off the vibe, like I was looking at it, and it kind of gave the vibe like, okay, thank God, finally it's over, like we can breathe, you know. And so now he's incarcerated in federal custody where his ass belongs. And that is the story of Danielle Sims and Crystal Williams. And now it is time for Fair or Foul, where we look at the justice system to determine if the sentencing that was given was indeed fair or if it was just some bullshit that's going to have us sitting back saying, what the fuck? All right. So, him getting 2 consecutive life sentences in prison, absolutely fair. Y'all know I am an advocate for that $42 cocktail. And if anybody deserves one, it's his bullfrog looking ass. If anybody deserves to have a life sentence and be put in that electric chair or get that $42 cocktail, because the state of Georgia is very much a death penalty state. And y'all know I don't really advocate for the death penalty, but in this case, I kind of do. It should be him. You met this girl and swept her off her feet. And you had her thinking that y'all were going to have this beautiful life together and that you loved her so much. And immediately you started acting a fool. And I hate that she didn't see the warning signs a lot sooner. Well, actually, you know what? No, she did, but she just ignored it. But you had a good woman and you immediately decided that you were going to go try to isolate her from her family because she actually had people that gave a fuck about her, because she actually had people that loved her. You decided that you wanted to try to take her away from everything and everybody. You decided that nobody else could have her. For what? Then when she had enough of your bullshit, you gave her more bullshit. You gave her bullshit ass apologies, empty promises, but realistically, you kept doing the same shit. You knew that you weren't going to stop. Like, I hate that she didn't know about your background. I'm almost certain that she didn't know about your background because if she did, I doubt that she would have been with your ass. If she did, I doubt that she would have continued to fuck with your little fuck boy ass, let alone move in with you. And hell, it didn't take her long to see that you weren't shit once y'all moved in together. It didn't take her long to see that you really is a bum. Like it didn't take long to realize that you was full of shit and you weren't gonna change. Y'all lived together less than 2 months and she saw that you wasn't about shit. And so she decided to get the fuck up out of there. But you did something as calculated and maniacal, as cold hearted as cutting her off when she's trying to leave and killing her and her mother. Then shooting at her 18-year-old brother? What kind of nigga are you? What the fuck did her family do to you other than be her family? They loved their daughter. They loved their sister. They wanted to be there for her. But because she didn't want to deal with your black ass anymore, because she didn't want to deal with your square head, Carlton Banks shaped head ass, you decided to kill her? Like, for what? You didn't like the fact that she saw you for who you really were. You didn't like the fact that you couldn't control her anymore. You ain't like the fact that she still had a voice and an opinion in her own mind. You ain't like the fact that despite the fact that your parents didn't give a fuck about you, that her parents actually gave a damn. Yeah, you absolutely deserve to spend the rest of your life in prison, your monkey ass. I hope that they are bending you over right now and butt fucking you with no lube. And that's more likely possible, seeing as how your ass is in prison. I hope that you never see the light of day again. I hope that you suffer every fucking day of your life. Quite honestly, I don't know what the fuck she found attractive about you in the first place because your ass is ugly as shit. Like, it looked like your nickname should be. Like, I don't understand how somebody so beautiful, so talented, so charismatic can end up with somebody like you. And that's usually how it go. It be the girls that got they shit together that be on point and they cross a fuck boy and mess up their life. And then you sit there and continue to shoot at her and you shoot at her mama who shielded her body. Now, Danielle, she is a true definition of a mama. That shows you how much she loved her baby and shielded her baby with her own body, taking the brunt of the bullets that you fired. Then your punk ass decided to turn the gun to her 18-year-old brother who ain't did shit to you. And thank God that that other child that was in the car didn't get hit. But you scarred both of them kids. You traumatized both of them kids. Their lives ain't gonna never be the same. And now, neither will yours. Fuck boy. I hope that your ass go in there and find the sickest dick possible to fuck your ass up. I hope that you in there and get something that you can't get rid of. I swear, I wish they could give you that $42 cocktail so bad, but unfortunately, you got them two sentences instead. 23 years old and getting 2 consecutive life sentences. Stupid. You gonna rot in that motherfucker. And then on top of that, hold up. Then on top of that, you had an assault charge against an officer, which means you clearly don't give a fuck. Like, that tells me that you have no level of respect for anybody. I hate that this girl got caught up with you. Like, I hate that y'all have mutual friends, and I'm side-eyeing the fuck out of them because how the fuck did y'all end up introducing these niggas? Like, y'all didn't know that this nigga wasn't shit? When you introduced him to Crystal, you didn't know that this nigga wasn't shit. This is why I say watch your friends. At the end of the day, you know, as the friend, you know when your friend ain't shit. That's when they should be an acquaintance and not your friend. I'm just saying. And Crystal was a beautiful girl. Hell, her mama was a baddie too. How the fuck you bag her? Like, bruh, if anything, be on your fucking best behavior. Because if I'm walking around here like a Google moose and I got a baddie, best believe I'm going to be doing everything that I can to keep her. Ladies, do me a favor. If you are new in town or you're moving somewhere new, please don't let a nice smile or a charming personality sway you to fuck with a nigga. Research his ass. Okay. Baby, the way my black ass is, when I tell you a bitch be doing a full background check, let me tell you something. Back in the day, I met somebody and I ain't do my due diligence. Baby, when I tell you, after dating him for about a month, I started noticing shit. And I found out that that nigga had a history of child abuse and had been in prison for motherfucking statutory rape. Oh, when I say I dropped homeboy so damn fast, because I'm thinking, I got kids to think about. Granted, Crystal didn't have any kids, but she had herself to think about. She had her own safety to think about. And I'm pretty sure she had known, had she known about this pending assault charge against the officer or whatever that he had, she wouldn't have been with him. And then that in itself, that really makes me question, how the hell is this motherfucker out walking around when he got charges that are that serious? Like, I understand that there was a pandemic going on, but his ass should have been sitting in jail because normally when a black man assaults an officer, or y'all can't wait to lock us up under the motherfucking jail. Y'all can't wait to be the nigga ass. So I'm curious as to how the fuck this motherfucker was able to walk around with some charges like that. Assault against an officer? Come on now. The fact of the matter is, Justin, baby boy, you a bitch. That's some bitch ass shit to do. You killed this girl because she didn't want to be with you no more. If you such this nigga and you got it like that and you can have all these bitches that you want, nigga, it's fucking Atlanta. I know bitches is a dime a dozen there. Hell, Atlanta is the fucking metropolitan female capital of the world, the home of fucking BBLs and lace fronts. You couldn't get another chick? No, no, you couldn't because you knew you wasn't shit. So you decided because she didn't want to be with you no more and she decided to move the fuck out and get the fuck away from you that you was going to kill her? Like, come on, man. What's the reason? What's the reason? Oh, I know exactly what the reason is. Because your low self-esteem having ass know that you full of shit. Because your low self-esteem having ass know that you don't deserve a real bitch. Because your low self-esteem having ass know that at the end of the day, don't nobody want your motherfucking ass. Don't nobody want to deal with your little funky ass attitude. Don't nobody want to deal with no fucking possessive ass, insecure ass, low vibrational ass little boy. Oh, but now somebody gonna want you, and it's gonna be some big back burly ass nigga named Earl. He gonna deal with your ass all right. Now, I know I joke a lot about that and always joking about how a nigga getting bent over in the pokey and all of that, but this nigga here definitely deserves to get bent over in the pokey. This nigga definitely deserves to have his booty hole snatched, and that's just how I feel about that. Sorry, not sorry. That is all for this week's episode of the Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast. You can follow the show on the various streams on Instagram and TikTok at Infamous One Podcast. That's the number one, by the way, not spelled out. And you can leave a review there. On X, it's Infamous One Pod, where you can also leave a review. On Facebook, you can join the private discussion group, the Infamous Ones discussion group, but y'all know the deal. Got to answer the questions to get in. It's that simple. Answer all the questions and you in. Come on in, take a seat, tell us where you're from and what you're sipping on. The show streams on multiple streaming services like Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and so on and so on. So leave a review. The reviews have gone up a little bit on Apple. I'm happy, keep dropping them reviews. I'm trying to get to at least 200. Like, dang, can I get at least 200? Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, let me read some of the reviews. Oops. All right. So the first review comes from Apple Podcasts from Hurricane Rob, and it's a 5-star captioned, great storytelling. It says, I listen to all your shows and you do an excellent job at telling the story. The facts with a little of your opinion sprinkled in makes everything great. Keep up the good work and keep singing. Thank you, Hurricane Rob. Do I want to know why they call you that? But I appreciate it. Yeah, I definitely give my opinion a lot. I know I be going overboard sometimes, but listen, I be in the moment. Sorry, not sorry. But still, thank you. The next review comes from Spotify from Rashawn91 on the episode It Is What It Is, which was last week's episode. And it says, like listening to my cousin. That's it. That's the review. Thanks, friend. Short and to the point. All right, mobbers, remember to support the Black Box. Y'all know that I just drop episodes whenever for that. There's no real time frame. You never know as to when that's going to happen. One is coming soon, like sometime this week. Hint, hint. So stay supporting the Black Box. The Infamous Ones Murder Mystery Virtual Contest has officially begun. Now, I know one of y'all hit me up and said that you weren't able to see the clue. So I'm going to start pinning the clues. That way you can see them. But each week I will post a clue in the Facebook group via video. So you'll see the clue in the group only and get an opportunity to win the prize. The first clue, like I said, has been posted. On May 24th, there will be a live show or a Facebook Live in the group only where the winner of that clue will be announced if somebody gets it correct. There will be a winner for the month of May, June, July, August, and September. So that means there's going to be 5 winners between May and September. And then on October 10th, there's going to be a live show in Atlanta, Georgia. That show, each of the winners from the prior contest will be entered for a chance to win a $250 prize, cash. And for those in attendance, everybody that attends are going to be entered into a second raffle for a $100 cash prize. So that will be at the live show in Atlanta, Georgia, October 10th, 2026. Tickets will be available on Eventbrite starting July 1st. So the virtual murder mystery night is officially here, so stay tuned for the clues. Ad space is still available. If you would like to have your business mentioned on any episode, I'm still running ad specials for $30. You can inbox me or reach out to me via Facebook group. If you want to support the show or if you feel in the spirit, meaning that liquor that y'all been sipping on and that water that I've been sipping on, click the link at the bottom of the screen from whatever app you're listening to this episode on and hit listener support to give. You can also donate via the Cash App at $infamous1pod. That's $INFAMOUSONEPOD. Donations go toward court documentations, interviews, JPay. Listen, some of these court documents, they be charging like 20 freaking dollars for one copy. It's insanity. So it's not like y'all's dollars ain't going to good use, okay? Because I'm tired of coming up out of pocket. Sheesh. If you have a case that you want to hear more on that you feel has been ignored in the Black community, if you want to inquire about ad space, or if you want to leave a review, send an email to infamousonepod@gmail.com. That's INFAMOUSONEPOD@gmail.com. And once again, people, please share, share, share. This podcast is growing by the day, and y'all know it means everything to me. So please keep sharing the podcast. Please keep leaving these reviews, especially on Apple, by the way. Make sure that y'all keep going for your girl. Until then, y'all know what it is. I'm your girl Kay. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see y'all next week with a new episode. Stay mobbing, y'all. Peace.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast hosted by Kay. Be sure to like and comment on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe so that you never miss an episode.